The year is 2025. For centuries, the Nazca Lines have etched a colossal mystery into the arid plains of Peru. Gigantic figures, hummingbird, a spider, a monkey visible only from the sky. Archaeologists called them ceremonial pathways, tributes to celestial gods. But Dr. Iris Thorne, a disgraced geoarchaeologist, always believed they were something more. The reading stabilized at 15,200 years, plus or minus a few decades. This was before the accepted timeline for any complex civilization, let alone one capable of metallurgy. Scientific journals that had rejected his papers now begged for his data. The real question wasn't asterisk what asterisk they were, but asterisk who asterisk built them, and asterisk why asterisk. The drones had detected something else, a weaker, more complex signal emanating from a remote, mountainous region miles away from the main Nazca site. It was a long shot, but it was the only lead they had. Aris organized a small expedition. The journey was grueling. A multi-day trek into the high Andes, a place where the air grew thin and the silence was absolute. Guided by the drone signal, they found it, a narrow fissure in a sheer rock face, almost perfectly concealed by erosion and overgrowth. It looked natural, but the energy readings said otherwise. Inside, they found a tunnel, not carved by water, but by something far more precise. The walls were smooth, cool to the touch, and descended deep into the mountain. After what felt like an eternity, the tunnel opened into a vast cavern. The air here was different still and strangely warm. In the center of the cavern stood a single, towering crystalline structure. It hummed with a low, resonant frequency, pulsing with a soft internal light. The source of the signal. As they approached, the crystal brightened and holographic images flickered to life in the air around it. It wasn't a language of words, but of images, emotions, and pure data. It was a story, a message in a bottle cast across an ocean of time. The images showed a thriving civilization, people who looked much like us, but their world was dying. Their sun was expanding, turning their verdant home into a scorched wasteland. They were scientists, explorers, not conquerors. They had built a fleet of massive arc ships to preserve their species, sending them out to the stars in a desperate search for a new home. One of those ships found Earth. This was 15,000 years ago. During the last ice age, our planet was harsh, but it was alive. The ship's crew, whom the local tribes came to know as the Sky People, were not gods, but mentors. They saw the nascent intelligence in the early humans, the spark of potential. They didn't want to rule, they wanted to help. The holographic archive showed them teaching early humans about agriculture, astronomy, and mathematics. They helped them build, not with advanced tools, but by showing them how to better use their own. They were gentle guides, careful not to create a dependency. The Nazca Lines weren't just landing pads. They were a star map, a celestial calendar, a gift of knowledge etched into the very earth. But the Sky People couldn't stay. Their biology wasn't fully compatible with Earth's. They were slowly sickening. Their mission was to plant a seed, not to colonize. The archives showed their heartbreaking departure. They said goodbye to the primitive tribes they had come to care for, promising nothing but leaving behind a legacy of knowledge. They left the crystal, this archive, as a final testament, programmed to awaken only when humanity had developed the technology to find it. They believed in us. They believed that one day we would be ready to understand. As the final images faded, Ara stood in stunned silence, tears streaming down his face. His entire life, he had been searching for proof of ancient aliens, expecting to find advanced technology, maybe even weapons. Instead, he found a story of compassion. It's an act of interstellar generosity. It's a civilization that, in its dying moments, chose to give the gift of knowledge to a fledgling species on a distant world. The true discovery wasn't that aliens had visited Earth. It was the profound realization of who they were. They were refugees who became mentors. They were a people who, faced with their own extinction, chose hope. They chose to invest in the future of a species that was not their own. When Eris and his team emerged from the mountain, they weren't just carrying data. They were carrying a new history of humanity. A history that didn't begin with struggle and conflict, but with an incredible act of kindness. The world was about to learn that our oldest ancestors had teachers, guides from the stars who believed in our potential long before we did. The revelation changed everything. It wasn't about superior technology. It was about our shared story. It suggested that maybe, just maybe, the impulse to help, to teach, and to uplift is a universal constant, a thread that connects intelligent life across the cosmos. Eris Thorne had set out to prove a controversial theory and ended up uncovering the most heartwarming and hopeful story in human history, that we were never truly alone. And that our journey to the stars began with a hand of friendship extended from a people who saw in us a future worth saving. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more explorations into the mysteries that connect us all.